Sadhana. Sadhana in Sanskrit word we normally say the practices, the means and the method by which we discover our true nature inside and allow it to express in personal, in professional, social and family life. You have $1 million in a checking account, and then you say, okay, let me buy a house, let me buy all these steps, and you put them into an organized manner. Exactly the same way. Because you do not purchase your true nature, it is already inside. You see, you need not to go outside, struggle with people. Oh, where is my $1 million? And that is my true nature. This true nature has 5 attributes. If you recall, pure consciousness, truth. So that truth has nothing to do with whether you speak a lie or you speak a truth outside. It is the truth is a truth consciousness. It is the truth of the true nature. So then, a permanent state of the happiness, it cannot be undone. Permanent love and wisdom, the knowledge. So all these 5 attributes are subdivided and expresses itself in 64 attributes in our personal, professional, social, family life. Permutation and combination of these 5 attributes become relaxation, become inner calmness, become beauty, they become inner state of calmness, they become the wisdom in professional, social, personal life. After all, there must be some origin. There is, something doesn't come out of nothing. So the principle says that true nature, 5 attributes, then 5 attributes convert into a 64 attributes. We are communicating in a healthy environment. That is also one attribute. Personal. So the entire journey of life, Nancy, is the only project we have to take care. The other projects are taken care of. Now, after listening to you, that is the biggest project. So the more you take care of this project of self-discovery, the rest is taken care of. To undertake that project, when we say to know it, to understand it, and to act on it, is what is known as sadhana. I have written the first question, that what is sadhana? And chatushtaya means 4-fold practices. So gradually, how many practices are there in the 4-fold practices? 4 connections we have already done. And in the 4-fold practices, we have total 9, you can say 9 practices, out of which the first 2 is knowledge practice. And the rest, 5 practices, even the last one is also a knowledge practices. And then what is left is the 6 practices, small steps. And we have been doing it. So now we are becoming more and more aware. Now we want to move to the next higher step so that we can prevent, we can block, we can transform what causes me the stress, suffering, anxiety, reaction, and one you just said that, I keep thinking. I keep thinking. So these questions I'm going to answer in a way. I gave you one paper also, and I told you that at least here are the 12 steps. Once we realize those 12 steps, we have achieved that state. We have achieved that state. That is what. So, now, before we go, hidden practices, fourfold practices, yes. So the ultimate and the highest is the knowledge practice. I'm stressing the practice. Because once we remove the word practice, after the knowledge, we live into that wisdom. Wisdom of what? That I'm living in my true nature and expressing that true nature in getting the things done in my professional life, in my personal life. So what it means, I'm expressing peace in doing a particular project at the professional level. So where is the problem? The mind is running, okay, this is the project. Mind need not to run. Let me ask what, why, how, where, and when. Finished. One example. So why I stress that knowledge practice. I had two important masters, mentors in my life. One who lived in Himalayas, I sent you the picture. The other is also as great as my master, known as U.G. Krishnamurti, and who used to come here in US, and he used to travel a lot. My master used to say, the first master, the Himalayan master, that follow this tradition, understand the principle, and when you have a clarity, practice it to bring about a change. Now the other master who has reached to the same level, he says, reject the authority of a teacher, reject everything, need not to find your real self. And I used to enjoy listening to both of them. So the second master who has reached to that state, he doesn't need to know all these principles, he is already there. So if he says reject the authority of a teacher, he is right. He doesn't need it. So he is speaking about himself, and he realized once he got awakened that you don't need a teacher, you don't need a practice, because the self belongs to you, it cannot be undone. So he is right. But my master says that you follow these principles, you live in ignorance. So now you have realized the self, but then the master says, continue with these principles. When you live with these principles, there is no chance of falling back. So both the masters are right, and they are talking from their point of view. That is the beauty of this Eastern wisdom. Every master has different expression. Why different expression? They customize. I would say that both the master helped me realize that once I reach to that state, what the second master says, I keep my mind totally empty of any project that I will undertake. I'm focusing on and customizing what you told me. Am I in peace? I can undertake any project. How easy it is. You already have an experience for which you are taking a new project. Where is the problem? It's only the organizing certain thoughts in a particular way, keeping the goal in mind of a project, and you will do it. Where is the problem? So the problem is there, then we have to do the sadhana, the practice. So the first is the knowledge practice. Knowledge practice, and the second is, you can say, the knowledge and intellectual understanding followed by the practice. And the third is upaya. Yes, third is understanding, are you approaching near to yourself? That gives you a new experience. Now, this sadhana, these practices depends on three factors. First is endurance, or you can say austerity. A small austerity will understand. The second is the knowledge of the self and the non-self. And the third is love for the sake of self. Love, emotional integration. First comes the endurance. I am treating the path. I have changed a lot. Let me recognize and appreciate it. And now let me be ready to endure when the mind poses a problem. Why it poses a problem? Because of the past impressions, because of the habit. So the brain has not changed completely. It returns with the same old track. The pre-recorded DVD runs the same song again and again. So it runs. So I have to endure. So that endurance should be positive. Positive means that when I follow certain steps in this journey, the mind does not react. One aspect. Second aspect, that this mind supports what I am doing. How it supports? With the intellectual clarity, with the knowledge, with the clarity of understanding. Mind is pushing you, what will happen to this project? Why don't you allow the intellect to take over the mind? Allow the intellect to say to the mind, don't I have experience of the project? Yes. Can't I do it? Yes. Then let the intellect say to the mind, let me organize every step. How to reach to you? I have to take a key, the bag, and the file, and the phone, and everything I am organizing. It is so simple. The same way projects need to be done. Casual, free. Why? Because outside you are performing a role. You are not the project manager. As I told you before, you are not the mother, you are not the daughter, you are not the sister. See, the same thing should be applied here. But the mind returns again. And now you have a clarity of conviction, clarity and the conviction that this is what needs to be done. But the mind returns again. So we have to apply the endurance. How to apply it? Take one example. Close your eyes. Close your eyes and start breathing quick and fast from the chest. Now you have to endure. We are going to do today almost for 3 to 4 minutes. And so mind reacts. Don't allow it to react. Just continue. 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 Quick and fast. So I'll tell you later on how many minutes you did it, but just continue. The mind reacts and you say, no, I will do it. Mind says you have unusual experiences and you say, I will do it. Casual, just running. You see that casual in activity, casual in your professional life. Endurance has also an element of enthusiasm, inspiration, determination. With the same tempo, with the same speed. And stop it. You have done it. You have endured 4 minutes of this step. And just after that, we move into the knowledge practice. Look at the head and the neck. And know there is a sensation, relaxation and stillness. What happens? The mind, because of its past habit, it says, no, this step is crazy. My mind was reacting, it doesn't like it. You have to drop all those. That is what the endurance is. So the mind moves on the right arm, be there. It's a knowledge practice. You see the craziness of the mind is? It does not want to endure, and it does not want to do any practice, any passive steps. When you say to the mind, look at the right arm, it goes somewhere else. So we have to give some treatment to this mind. So move the mind on the right arm. feel the sensation, relaxation and stillness. Left arm, feel the sensation, relaxation and stillness. Understand, my friend, which I discussed in detail about wrong thinking, wrong notion, ignorance, impurity of the mind. We are getting rid of all that. This is the way. Yes, this is one of the many ways. So anytime during the day, from today, the mind takes over us and you take over the mind. This is another one way to take over the mind. Move the mind on the chest and the belly. Feel the sensation, relaxation and stillness. Move the mind on the right leg. Feel the sensation, relaxation and stillness. The mind goes to the left leg. Sensation, relaxation and stillness. The entire body. Move the mind slowly, gently, with awareness that gives you the deepening of the sensation and also relaxation and also the stillness. Continue to move the mind on the head and the neck. We should reach to that state of awareness where the knowledge alone drops, the mind at default, the mind of stress, the mind that causes the anxiety. So it's a self-check. You know it, you experience it, and you can change. You can reset the mind in a fraction of a second. So you are still moving with the knowledge that at this moment, anything happening in the past has nothing to do with my stress at this moment. Anything that is coming from the past impression has nothing to do with any problem in the mind. I'm here and now. The mind is moving on the head and the neck, or the entire body. And I'm experiencing sensation, relaxation and stillness. Understand, we have discussed that due to the past impression, or according to the science, the brain creates a specific pathways, it repeats itself, it's self-repetitive, and that expresses in reactive thoughts and anxiety, reaction, problems and suffering. We only know the effect of that subtler vibrations coming from the past impression. We call it as sanskaras, the vasanas. So in order to get rid of it, we endure. So 2 steps of endurance, and now we work on the mind. Why? We are asking the mind, you need not to act and react on any impression on the past. Let the intellect take a decision. How to do the focus inside the forehead in the space. You may find the past impression, it's okay. I hear a lot of noises and you are hearing a lot of noises. At the same time, I'm guiding you. No worries. So keep your focus inside the forehead in the space. And there you have to hammer. With what? With the mantra, Shantoham. What did that mean? I am the peace. How you have to hammer? Quick, fast and loud, mentally. It means in your mind it is loud, it is quick, it is fast. So as if you are feeling Shantoham, Shantoham, Shantoham mentally. Shantoham, Shantoham, Shantoham into the space inside the forehead. You're replacing the past impression by hammering quick, fast, loud in your mind in the state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Continue. Continue. Body, breath is not doing anything. It is the mind working on the mind. How? Through the intellect. The intellect knows I have to hammer, quick, fast, and loud. Where? In the inside the head, in the space, and what I have to hammer. The intellect knows. The mind says no. You still do it. Shantoham, 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 Shantoham. That means I am the peace. Shantoham, Shantoham, Shantoham. You don't allow a single thought in between the two Shantoham, and you are a winner. You see how we are consciously working on the mind, quick, fast, and loud in your mind, bypassing the body and the breath. Because if we engage body and the breath, we'll feel exhaustion. So intelligently, we bypass the body and the breath, asking the mind to work on the mind. Shantoham, 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 Shantoham. You're hammering. Shantoham, 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 Shantoham. Shantoham, 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 Shantoham. Quite fast and loud. Now, drop this hammering, experience the sensation, relaxation in stillness, and move the mind inside, experience calmness and quietness. What it means by calmness? Those crazy thoughts and feeling of the past impression seems to be too far. And what is the quietness? You know the impressions, you feel the bubbling, but there are no thoughts as such. So that is the sense of quietness. It comes by practice. Now we will play with the mind. We have taken over the mind, and then only it is easy to play with the mind. Look at the breath going in and say Shantoham. The breath comes out, Shantoham, goes in, Shantoham. Just dropping casually, naturally. But question is, still the past thought returns. So apply one formula. It is easy to apply this formula in this state after doing the first two steps. Normally people apply in ignorance and that doesn't work. Any thought comes, you superimpose Shantoham over it. No thought comes, continue the journey with the breath goes in, Shantoham, breath comes out, Shantoham. So we have two options, breath going in and out, Shantoham. Well, when the thought comes, any thought, feeling, good, bad, high, low, superimpose. That superimpose is a play. What it means? Giving you a simple example. I come to you, and you ask me who you are. I say Shantoham. What car you have? Shantoham. Where you are going? Shantoham. Why you have come? Shantoham. For every question, my answer is Shantoham. And this my answer is your mind. Conscious mind, clear mind. You know what needs to be done. And then there is a habitual mind. The mind brings in any thought, Shantoham. Any thought, good, bad, high, low. Only challenge is when the mind forgets, why it forgets? Because of the past impression. Then the intellect is taken over by the same impression. You forget. No worries, you forget, you remember. Why? And because I'm here, I'm reminding you. That you bypass the body, leave the body in the state of sensation, relaxation, stillness. Why? The mind translates its craziness through the body. So we have kept the body, sensation, relaxation, stillness. If it becomes helpless with the body, then it creates a different pattern of the breath, emotional, mental, through the breath, so that it can trigger the body. Breath is also normal. You are not changing the rate and the rhythm of the breath and feeling the sensation. And on the breath, instead the past impression should act on it, you are dropping Shantoham. It cannot be the easier practice than the one that we are doing now. Casual, in the knowledge. So knowledge is 90%, only 10% if I say is the practice. Breath goes in Shantoham, comes out Shantoham. So you keep your mind on the breath when there are no thoughts. And the moment any thought comes, superimpose Shantoham. I gave you one example, Shantoham. I see the aquarium, Shantoham. I don't see it, like Shantoham. I see the fish, Shantoham. I see the alligator, Shantoham. Where lies the problem? We are moving into the knowledge practice. Shantoham, Shantoham. and doing nothing. When you do nothing, there is an awareness of the knowledge and the wisdom. What is that? This is the state where we are. That is a reflection of our true nature through the mind. So when the mind prevents this reflection of the self in itself, we suffer. Now you are not doing anything. Doing nothing is also a knowledge practice. That knowledge is there. That wisdom is there. And it brings in, pours deeper experience of calmness and the peace and the happiness. Check it when you do the practice. Well, continue doing the other practices that we'll talk a little later. But do this practice to understand. You apply the three factors of the journey. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind to the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it in your eyes, open the eyes inside. Bring the hands down. How deeper?
This would be good for me right now.
Yeah? How deeper the practice? So, sadhana. Sadhana literally means moving away from what is not desired in life. So the mind is constantly thinking about the project. This is not desired. But the mind creates a doubt. If you don't think, you cannot complete the project. You have to drop it. It can be done. You have an experience. You have been doing it. You have done it. Sadhana, moving away from what is not desired, drop it. So what is desired? With a focused mind, I will write down the steps and then I will complete the project. Another meaning of the practice that we have been doing is known as upaya. Upaya means the means, method. Now the mind is not listening. So we have endurance, we have knowledge. So knowledge plus endurance, the mind does not react. But if we don't have a knowledge, the mind will react. You'll go back to the same state. But the reaction of the mind we cannot control. But we can enter into the domain of the mind silently. Okay, let us do it. Let us do it. See that. Continue. And you persist. No, I have to continue until I change the experience. Endurance with the knowledge plus love. So I'll cover love little later. The third point is upaya, and the third is the abhyasa. Abhyasa means practice. The one we did, the knowledge practice, and the one practice that we did. Abhyasa means the regular practice with wisdom, with understanding, with clarity. You do not enter through the wall. With understanding, you enter through the main door into your house. Apply the same thing to the mind. No, if I constantly think over a project, then I will complete the project. No. That is not the way. So you are reflecting on it. Reflecting on it. So the third part is known as the abhyas. You have to do the practice every day. Practice every day. So there are 3 points mentioned in one text by a great master. Regular practice, uninterrupted practice, means continuity. No, I felt a headache, so I left it. So I listened from a lot of people. Come on, when you do the practice, your headache will go away. So the mind plays lot of tricks. Why? Because this practice, all these practices, is the death of the mind that causes the reaction and the stress and the suffering in life. So the mind returns again, excusing itself through many means. Or if it doesn't give you an excuse, you fall into sleep. Back to square one. So now the time, no sleep. This is the way the sadhana and the journey of self-discovery works. I should recall, I am walking, mind is crazy, I should recall and start understanding, drop the mind. But that stage comes slowly. But depends on the level of a person. If you have the highest level of intensity of doing it, it can happen in a week. So now coming back, I told you there are 9 practices. Briefly touching, and then we'll take this up in the next session. Viveka. The Sanskrit word is viveka. Viveka means separating through the knowledge what is wrong, what is right. Only through the knowledge in the mind you can separate what is the wrong notion from the right notion. There is no other way. So I have to contemplate this. I have to contemplate and reflect again and again, listening to this file. Knowledge in the mind separates this from that. Knowledge is not happening here, knowledge is not happening there. Check it. Understand it. Knowledge in your mind inside separate Nancy from me. Knowledge in my mind separates me from Nancy. Knowledge in the Nancy mind does not have the same status in my mind. Let me simplify. So knowledge and the mind separate the constant chattering of the mind over a project with the clear mind. Now I'm separating. See that? Come on, mind, you need not to think it's old habit. Stop this. So no, you will fail in the project. You cannot. No, I will complete it. So that knowledge should happen in the mind. I may give you 1,000 practices, it will not work if the knowledge is not there. I say, come on, continue breathing and jumping and doing all kinds of practices, but the knowledge is not there in the mind. The mind will continue to return to the same factor again. Contemplation, reflection. Come on, mind, what are you doing? I'm walking. I'm eating. What are you thinking? Pay attention to eating. I'm walking. Pay attention to walking. Enjoy that. So that is known as the first knowledge practice. It is known as viveka. The more you do it, you are moving away from all the stress and the suffering. The more you do it, you need not to worry if the mind returns again to the same step. It will simply lose hold of it. You weaken that step. You weaken. I hate Nancy, I hate Nancy. Mind is constantly repeating, and I'm with you. What will happen to me? Just think of it. And I said, no, it has nothing to do with me. Mind, you are unnecessarily crazy. Nothing to do with me. Well, even if the Nancy is crazy, let it be. Mind, come on. So then I come back again and everything is fine. So I'm moving away from those thoughts, feelings, and the past impressions. They are repetitive. Moving away. Moving away. I'm not fighting. Moving away. So the moment you move away from these things, you move near to yourself naturally. When you leave the office, you're moving away from the office, you're approaching to home. They both work together. Isn't it? So that, now what happens when you second is known as vairagya. It is English translation is the dispassion. Dispassion happens. The state of dispassion comes. It makes the mind fresh, energetic, creative, inspirative, because those thoughts are not creating any challenges to the mind. Mind is ready. Mind is always ready to perform a particular task at any given time in the state of calmness and peace, and that is known as dispassion, true knowledge practice. So you pick up the knowledge and the mind, separating wrong from the right, false from the true, and we will work on this next week. So the more you separate in the mind, the second step, that is dispassion, becomes so natural. These are the two. Then we have the six treasures in life, inner treasures. Outer treasures, your bank balance, house, outer wealth. So once you discover these 6 treasures, there is no dearth of the wealth outside also. Anyhow, mind is clear, the intellect is clear. I'm ready to work hard. I can organize my life in a right direction. Outer wealth, outer treasures are just, it is within your reach. There's no craving, but it is within your reach. That will tell. And the fourth, there are fourfold practice. First is that knowledge in the mind separates. The second is the dispassion. Then the third contains the 6 practices, and the fourth is the intensive aspiration to live your life in peace and happiness. There is a constant inputs. Your intellect is always inspired. My daughter is not understanding, so now you understand through the knowledge and the wisdom and the mind why you are insisting that my daughter is not understanding. Why don't you leave it? Leave it on her. So you have a smile on the face. But because you also insist and she is also insisting, at least one should leave it. Are you getting it? At least you are on a journey. So who is more intelligent than the two? The knowledge in the mind. Oh, I realize she is also insisting she is following that path, but I don't like that path. I find that this path will help her. So let me insist. And the argument starts. And then from one argument, the mind claims that why she doesn't listen to me, this path is right. That is her path of evolution. It is your path of evolution. Look at it. See how easy it is. But the mind pushes, triggers from the past impression. It says, no, I have to settle a score. At least you should understand. And then the American phrase, oh, at least, this is my point of view. When the other is not listening, then what is the fun of making my point of view or your point of view? I don't understand. There is no reason. You go to the workplace in happiness and love for everyone and you return with the same state. You have done your work. Fourfold practices. Besides that, now I'm making you aware that we are not aware and we do not recognize the hidden practices. That remains hidden. If I use the word hell, why the hell I've been coming regularly? The relationship between both of us, a communication. So this communication, this relationship, when you are listening it calmly and understanding, and I'm talking about this principle, this is a hidden practice. We overlook it. And the master says this practice is known as satsang. So the role of the teacher is the moment the teacher meets the seeker and the student, that teacher has to talk of these principles and the practices, no other talk. Just for casually you talk after the session is over. There is no other interest. There is no other interest of a teacher. Only after the talk, casually I will tell you I'll request you one thing. I know you will agree, but not before that. So the role of teacher is as important as the role of a student, has to remain at the level of a seeker. So then only the real communication, then only that satsang is there. That is known as the company of that real self. So you also are living in the company of the self. I'm also living in the company of the self. You are living, listening and learning from me, and I'm living by default because I'm a teacher. I'm a mentor. I'm a guide. No other challenges, no other issues should ever enter into the head of a teacher. It's very important. And you have seen all these sessions. We talk here and there a few, and then we return again. Our goal is the self. The second hidden practice is known as the karma. Karma means action. Action literally, but now the seeker understands karma is equal to I plus action. So because your intellect is inspired, your mind is clear, so you start understanding that karma is equal to I plus action. Add I to an action of going to the restroom, that I will cause a problem. Going to the restroom is also an action. Cooking something in the kitchen is also an action. Add I. Problem is there. So why the problem in the workplace or in relationship? Because I is there. I insist. Mathematical equation. Karma equal sign I plus action. Now I have to perform action, means I have to play my role well. I'm bringing him through another point. So what is action in that equation? Then the action is equal sign, then karma minus I. Play your role well. Go to the office, play my role well. Thank you, darling, honey, and I'm going. I've done this. Finished. You enjoy that. Add I. Suffer then? Who can control your suffering? No one. Hidden practice. Start doing it from today and see that you will enjoy. There is no I simply, when I come to you, I openly speak about the principle. You disagree, I will make you understand again. You continue to disagree, it means there is a lot of challenges in your mind. So if you agree, I will deal with those challenges. You will say, no, you are crazy, I will leave. Action. Just playing my role, enjoying. So in that process you learn more, keeping the mind clear in wisdom and second hidden practice. We don't realize it. Someday after the practice, when you go to the office, you're full of energy and you do it and you live in peace, you don't react. It's because of these practices. So we have to bring this at the conscious level. Third, love for the self. Love for the sake of the self. We love any person, anything, any object for the sake of love to ourselves. I was giving one example early in the morning. From 8 to 9 I had one session, so I kept a gap that I will start driving to your house at 9:30. I said, with whom you are living? No, she is from Eastern Europe. Living with my parents. Very good. So because you are working, so you may exercise a bit of authority on the parents because you bring the money. How simple it is. Do you agree? Yes. Do you love your mother? Yes. I love my mom. I said, from tomorrow in the morning your mom comes and says, you are the craziest person I have seen you. I hate you. I don't like you. And she continues to speak to you like this for about a week. Will you love your mom? No. Normal answer. No. So you love your mother because you like her. After 7 days, because your mind dislikes her, so you don't love your mother. That proves that I love for the sake of myself, I don't love for the sake of anybody else. Keep that wisdom in mind. Because I love myself, so that love is expressed in teaching with a clarity, with a wisdom. So there is another point into it. Because there is a love for the sake of self, And it is not Nancy, it is the self inside. So hence I am in intense love with that self also. Why? Because it is the same. The teacher works at that level. The teacher bypasses the labels of the Nancy, of the young and the old and the good and the bad. No, it is the same self. So the teacher communicates to yourself. You think that I'm communicating to your mind and the intellect? No. Sometimes I give the answers that does not follow the reason, that does not follow the logic. Because I'm answering yourself. I want that self should come out openly. These are the 3 hidden practices. Teacher works. The rest are secondary practices. Doing vanasana, poses, breathing. Even breathing are secondary practices. The first 2, primary and the hidden practices, we have to reveal within and see that life changes. Life changes. Apply the same principle which I